Good evening.
How's it going, Eric?
Good. Hope the fan isn't to cool your equipment.
Oh no, it just gets stuffy in the office here.
Yeah. I'm just planning on listening to see how this works and hopefully make some progress with Ron.
Well, the big problem is the fact that the PC doesn't have an internet connection, so that's going to make things challenging.
Yeah.
But if he had downloaded everything I told him to, we should be able to walk through the reinstall pretty reasonably.
Does the computer actually not have internet connections available? Do we know that, or?
It sounds like he must just not have, he may not have any sort of network, either wireless or wired going out there, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a ways between his house and the layout building.
Okay. Now, he doesn't have that great Northern layout, does he?
Yes.
Oh, that's his? Okay.
Yeah.
I've been out there.
Almost completely scenic, to a lot of double track and.
Yeah. I've been out there a few times.
Yeah, it's a beautiful layout.
Got photos here from some layout tour.
Yeah, I've got some photos of him, and especially when I was new to the area, when I go on a layout tour, I was trying to get the owner in a picture as well.
Yeah.
Take a picture of the directions and the owner as well as some of the layout, just to start learning people. Bill Kennedy called me and he wanted to listen in as well. So I gave him
I sent him the invite. So.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, he was on the list yesterday, so
okay.
or whatever day it was.
He called me tonight just a little while ago and said he didn't see it or have it or whatever. So I sent him another copy. So I just really appreciate you doing this and jumping in Monday night there to
timing worked out. I just happened to come back to was on another call with a guy in Arkansas who was presenting on Sunday, so needed some help learning how to present and so on. So
yeah. Oh, good. Good. I've been reading up in the Dispatcher magazine, the OPSIG magazine, that article on the computer system for actual operations is really,
yeah, Operations Pro.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's a pretty strong, well done explanation that I could even understand. So.
Yep. Like I said, the only problem was that the screenshots, you can't make them bigger unless you bring up the PDF and then you can zoom in. That was really you can't make them higher resolution just by the nature of the way photos work. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, as I said the other night, I'm pretty excited about this whole idea that we can help individuals by using a Zoom call And in many cases, just call up their screen and share.
Yeah. Like I said, as long as they've got enough bandwidth to push. That was the problem we had with the guy in Arkansas. He was pushing at 300 kilobits. So pretty much anything other than just sharing a photo was not going to work.
Yeah.
Just didn't have the bandwidth.
So you're doing something similar with him?
Well, he's one of the presenters on our virtual meetup on Sunday.
Okay.
So he had never presented, so I kind of had to walk him through it and kind of went through his presentation and so on to make sure it was going to work and make sure he understood, what the process was and so on.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's a little disconcerting when you're sharing on Zoom because your Zoom screen kind of disappears depending on how you've got it set up.
Yeah, you just kind of have to trust that it will show what it's supposed to. And
well, people are pretty good about telling you when it doesn't work.
Oh yeah.
Well, hi, Mark. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. I see Ron's connecting. So. I was just telling Mark, I was just telling Eric, I'm pretty excited about this whole idea of using Zoom to help people when they're stuck.
Hello?
Hey, Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Can you see me?
Cannot see you yet.
What do I do to get you to see me?
On your phone, there should be a button there to say add video.
I got Eric Smith on the lower right corner. I've got 4 dots in the middle and a
Person icon.
Hold on a
person
second.
icon on the right.
Hold on, let me bring up my Zoom on my phone and I'll tell you. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. I think I got it.
We
Yep,
see.
there we go.
All right.
All right, hold on, let me kill this one.
So can you see me now, Eric Smith?
Yes, I can. But I need to kill my phone here. Hold on.
Mark Faust, was it you that was
All right,
asking
there we go.
about the prototype trucks?
Bluetooth speaker out.
Yes, it was.
Okay. I think we got a source of information for you. So I'll get something to you from Tom Kane.
Thank you very much.
I'll link you up with Tom, and he's going to do a clinic first Monday in November on trucks.
All right, so Ron, first thing, if you can turn your camera sideways instead of lengthwise, that will be better. There we go. Okay,
Right.
so you got my link, or you got my email about downloading that PR3 software, right?
Yeah, and we, that was a minor nightmare.
Okay.
To get all of that stuff put in, downloaded. And so we've got the firmware downloaded. We got the drivers put in there.
Oh, you went, oh, sorry. I didn't mean that you needed to do all that without some assistance. I just needed you to download the stuff. And we were going to walk you through how to install it if you needed help with that. So sorry about the confusion.
That's all right. I kind of wanted to get all that done. Now, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But my wife is pretty good with the computer and she
Okay.
was able to get it. We think we got everything installed properly.
Okay.
And,
Well, yeah, basically if you installed the firmware and it said that it accepted it, that would be the first thing. And then the second thing would be to install the drivers on the computer.
Right.
What operating system are you running, by the way?
Windows 7.
Okay, that's perfectly fine.
and I got 64-bit.
Okay.
Just-
All right. So I guess at this point, why don't we try firing up Decoder Pro? Or
I've got it up right now.
okay. Do you also have your layout running?
I do.
Okay. Let's go ahead and I'm going to bring up I went down and turned my layout on so I can at least talk intelligently about what you should be seeing. So give me just a second.
One quick question before you guys get started. How did you hook up your PR3 to your computer? Because I pulled out mine. I was going to hook up my PR4, and I think
Hang on a minute.
I need a
PR3,
USB.
I believe it has a USB connection if I remember right.
Do they?
Okay, get that off of there.
Okay, so
Hang on.
all right.
We were trying to get some Bluetooth speakers hooked up
Okay,
because my hearing is not the greatest. So
got it.
but
Let your
they didn't-
IT department / your wife take care of that.
Yeah, well, we couldn't get it going, so.
Do it another time.
Okay. All right, so so in the panel Pro, do you see a LocoNet menu? Do you see a LocoNet menu?
A LocoNet menu. No,
And
we
panel-
brought up,
Right here, right here.
okay, yep,
Okay, do you have Decoder Pro up?
yes.
Okay, let me switch to that real quick. Sorry about that.
If you reverse your camera, I think they can see the screen.
Yeah, in the
Well,
phone,
that's come on big in there
if
now.
you tap the screen, it will bring up a little menu and you can switch the camera from front facing to rear facing. That's what you're trying to do.
Hang on, I have never used this phone for
Okay.
Zoom before. I'm
right.
trying to,
I'll tell you what, let's walk through a couple of the steps. You don't, I figured we were going to have to look at your screen more. So if you've got Decoder Pro up, under the LocoNet menu, there is a monitor LocoNet choice. Do you see that?
say that again.
Yes, I
Okay.
see it.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and bring that window up.
Okay.
And it's going to be it's going to be empty for starters.
Okay.
All right. Now, what I'd like you to do is on your layout. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so down at the very bottom, you see there's the bottom of the main menu. You see where it says like service mode programmer?
Yep.
LocoNet does it say LocoNet is online?
Yes, it does.
Okay, excellent. And then the next one should say operations mode programmer LocoNet is online.
Correct.
Programmer status idle.
Correct.
Okay, and then active profile, it may or may not say that. So,
No, don't have
all
that.
right. So here's what I'd like you to do, and this will verify, this looks good. This is a good sign. But what I'd like you to do is on the layout, just pick any engine, acquire it, turn up the throttle, turn it back to 0. So just drive a train.
Drive a train with my
Yep.
regular throttle.
Yeah, with your regular Digitrax throttle, what we want to see is basically what's going to happen is as you start doing stuff, this window is going to fill up with all sorts of data.
Okay.
And if we see it fill up with all sorts of data, basically that proves that we have a good connection to LocoNet. And that was the hard part here, honestly. You guys did it on your own, and that's outstanding. And I'm not being, I mean, it is hard to get this stuff running. So
It took a while. Yeah.
doing firmware installs, if you're not used to that, that is the whole new level of, see all that stuff?
There you go. Yep.
That basically says that your computer is now connected to LocoNet, and you didn't need a bit of help with it. You just needed some pointers. So
Yeah. Okay.
Ryan,
So-
you got some good help.
yeah. Your wife, you need to buy your wife something nice. She did a good job getting you set up. So
Yeah, the help was about ready to crack open the wine this afternoon, but we made it.
all right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and jump to the next step of, I think you wanted to understand how to, so you can go ahead and close out this LocoNet window. Just click that red X in the upper right.
Okay. What
All
about
right.
my engine that's running?
Okay, so you have a programming track plugged into your command station?
I do.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do is pick a engine, any engine, and put it on your programming track.
What are we going to do with it on the programming track?
What we're going to do, we're not going to change any programming, but what we're going to do is we're going to add it to your roster. That
Okay.
step we were going through the other night.
Yeah. Oh, you muted me.
Oh, sorry.
I can still hear you. We can still hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought Eric Peterson was talking and I couldn't hear him, but, so on the programming track.
Yep.
And you want it in programming mode, I take it.
Right. So
'Cause
go ahead.
I have a, I don't know what you call it, double throw, double pull switch
Yep.
that I can throw it from programming to run.
Got it. So yeah, you want it to be programming. We want those wires going into that prog A and prog B on your command station.
Okay. So I got one on there.
And just to make sure, the programming track is connected to the same command station that the PR3 is connected to, correct?
Well, I've got one command station and boosters that come off of it. They're all, linked with the LocoNet. So,
okay. And your PR3 is connected in with the same, it's connected into the same, obviously it's connected to the same LocoNet or we wouldn't see anything. Some people, the reason I'm asking that, some people have a separate command station for programming because they've got it in a different location. So I just want to make sure we're dealing with the same command station. That's all.
Correct. Yeah, it's the one that runs the railroad.
Okay, that's fine. So if your engine is on the command, it's on the programming track. Let's go back to the Decoder Pro page. Okay. And I'm going to walk you through how to add your loco to your roster. Okay. You know what you may want to do with the phone, you might want to put it in speakerphone mode. It might be easier.
It is.
Okay. Okay. All right. So up in the upper left-hand corner of this window, there's a button there that says New Loco. Do you see that?
Uh-huh.
Go ahead and push that. Now at the bottom, there's a button that says Read Type from Decoder. Do you see that? Go ahead and push that. And if you can turn the camera just a little bit to the, so I can see that part of the screen. There you go. Okay. So this is what basically, this is good. What this means is that the Decoder Pro has read the decoder successfully. It basically got the manufacturer information off. And what it's saying is that your decoder is one of the ones that's highlighted here. Now, I don't know if you know specifically which one it is.
I do.
Okay. Which one is it? Is it the 121 or the 120?
The DH123.
Okay. Go ahead and pick that.
Might be the 4 function.
All right.
I don't know.
Now, here's a couple other things that have happened here. So you see there, it shows a long address. Is this engine 568?
Yes.
Excellent. So what you want to do up
Where
at the very top.
Where do you see that?
It's right there. So basically this means that your programming software is working and it's talking through LocoNet successfully. This is great.
Okay.
Now up at the top where it says roster ID and it says new loco.
Yep.
The ID, for instance, I use like, CP 2100 for Canadian Pacific Engine 2100. I know you got a GN, so this might be GN 568 or however you want to identify it, just type that in here.
Okay, yeah.
And if you use the web, if you use the, you probably won't be using the web programmer or the phone throttle, but this is what you would pick from in the list.
Is it okay to have a space between GN and the
Absolutely.
number?
Yep.
Okay.
This field is for you, however you want to use it. It's just
Okay.
recommended you want to use something. I mean, I have some that are kind of long, but that's perfectly fine. And so then down at the bottom of this window, there's a couple buttons. Don't click any. Let me explain them. Read basically will read the decoder information. We've already done that. The right button here is if you change the address, you're going to want to hit write. But since we didn't change that, we don't have to write.
Okay.
The save actually will put this engine onto the roster.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So all you have to do is hit save. And then you can go ahead and close that little window there.
Now, Eric, will these engines that I put into this roster, will they be in order that they have been entered into the system?
Well,
Or-
what you can do is, you see how there's a, like where it says ID, there's sort of that gray box. If you
Yeah.
click on that, that will sort the data by that column.
Okay. So you can sort it by any of the columns,
Correct.
like you would Excel? Okay.
Yep. Now let me show you something else you probably want to do. Go ahead and click somewhere on that row with the GN568. Okay, now down at the bottom, there's a button that says open or program. It's kind of bottom right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Go ahead and press program. Now this is where you can enter lots more information about the engine. So for instance, you know, road name, Great Northern, road number, you know, you might want to use, you know, I just put either GN 568 or 568, the manufacturer. I mean, I put the hobby manufacturer there. So I know this is an Atlas or an Athearn.
Yeah.
Owner is great if you're in a club and you have a bunch of people with their engines coming in.
Okay.
Which obviously doesn't apply unless you're borrowing somebody's engine. Model,
Yeah.
I'll put the, you know, the type of engine there because all of that will show up on the roster.
Okay.
So just go ahead and fill in a few of these and we'll show you how that shows up. And you can put spaces, you can format it however you want. These are just, this is just extra data you can put in.
568.
568, yeah.
Yahoo.
Manufacturer's Proto 2000.
Some people will put like EMD or whatever, but I like to stick the model manufacturer there.
Yeah.
And then model, you know, it's a SD40, it's a whatever.
GP9, I think, isn't it? Or SD7.
Yep.
568.
SD7, yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay. So go ahead and hit, what's at the, is there an OK button down there at the bottom? Okay, this is the other one where it gets a little confusing because there's a bunch of buttons.
There's a save to roster.
Right. This stuff here, we're just saving to the roster. Now the other tabs you get into actually changing CVs on the chip. That's when you need to use the read all and write all changes to that thing we were doing the other day with the speed table.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in this case, just say save to roster. All right, and then close this window.
So all
All
that
right.
info is up there. Super.
Yep. Now, let me show you something cool. Go ahead and on your, is this engine still selected on your Digitrax throttle?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and dispatch it off of that throttle. You know, release the engine so we're not double plugged for the same engine.
Okay.
All right. Now, under the actions menu, pick new throttle. All right, now, do you see where it says no loco selected? Go ahead and click that and pick GN 568.
Okay.
Now, this basically is a mimic of the Digitrax throttle. So if this, does this have sound? Is it non-sound?
No sound.
Okay. So does it have lights?
Yes,
Okay.
if they work.
Okay. So push the light button on the throttle there, and it should turn the light off. You know, the headlight.
I pushed it. See if it changed the light.
Does this need to be in the run?
Just go ahead and click it back and forth, and you can see it blinking then.
He's asking, does it need to be in the run position?
Oh yeah, I would put the engine back. Just put the engine back on the railroad, or turn it to run. Either way.
Okay. All right, I'm going to hit this button, Ron. See if
I don't have any lights at the moment.
Okay. I'm clicking it. Is it changing?
Once he puts it back on the railroad, it will. You should be able to see that, assuming it's got headlights in it.
Turn the light on again. There it's on.
Okay, now it's working.
Okay, so basically, if the engine's on the railroad, you can use the throttle there on the left to basically drive the engine from your computer.
Okay.
So give it once he's clear, give it a little bit of power. Just kind of drag that up and let go. That engine should start driving.
It's not moving. Now it is.
Okay.
Congratulations, you are controlling your layout from your computer.
Gee, I've graduated from my cell phone to the computer.
Exactly. Now, the other nice thing is if you got to the point of running the engine driver or Wii throttle, which are additional pieces of software, this roster that you're building is what feeds those two programs. Now, since you don't have a network out here in your building, that's probably not really an option for you. But the nice thing about this is you can bring up a throttle on your computer, and if you need to run the train back and forth, you can do it without having to go find one of your Digitrax throttles.
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing you can do, you can go ahead and close the throttle window here. All right, you see the green button up there for the on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That
turns
is your
the system on and off, doesn't it?
correct. So you can turn your whole system on and off, which is outstanding if you have a problem like me where my DT400 decided to go on the fritz. I couldn't turn my layout on except if I fired up Decoder Pro or Panel Pro. So it's just sending the same command to power on and power off the system.
Okay. Well, this is great.
So let's do. So we're gonna do the. I talked you through one. Go ahead and grab a second engine, and let's have you do the whole add it to the roster thing again. So you make sure.
Does it have to be not MU'd to that 568, or does that matter?
It should still identify fine, even though it's MU'd. That'll be fine. It'll still identify the loco.
Okay. I'm gonna put that one. It's MU'd to it. I'm gonna try it.
Okay. So go ahead and put that on your programming track, and then we'll walk through the steps again.
We needed a third person here taking notes.
Well, I'm actually recording this.
Okay.
In case people, I'm not gonna go broadcasting it, but just in case other people need it, I keep it handy. But the nice thing is once you've got the hard part done of getting the programmer connected to the PC, the steps of this are actually pretty straightforward. The one thing you may run into if you've got really older engines, Sometimes the identify does not work, but that's okay. You can go through and find the decoder by hand. I had to do that with an older Kato engine that I had, or Kato. The Tsunami board was, it didn't report back its ID properly, so I just had to add it manually.
Decoder?
It's it was a TSU KT1000. It was literally one of the first Tsunamis ever built.
Okay.
And it's just Decoder Pro. It's like it reads back the number is like the address is like 16,000 something when you try to interrogate it.
Oh, somebody didn't hear the first bit.
Yeah, but if you actually put the address into your roster and then pull it up, it works just fine. So it's just an issue with the identification.
No,
It still says 568 is what it brought up.
Now, is that the
there,
one on
59.
the?
it
No,
changed.
it changed to 569. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So go ahead and do the thing there. And while you're doing that, the other thing you can do is if you click the Open Comprehensive Programmer, what this will do is it'll jump right to the bigger editor where you can put in the other details about the engine.
Okay. I can do that without hitting save.
Correct. At this point, if you do the Open Comprehensive, it will open it up in the big editor, and you'll
Okay.
still need to hit save once you've
Save
typed
it
stuff
later.
in. Yep.
Okay. Proto
Proto 2000.
model is SD7.
Yes.
Okay.
Now go ahead and hit the Save to Roster. Now, if you go over to the Consist tab, let's see if it picked up. Okay, never mind. That's a different type of consisting. So
Okay.
that's all there is to it. I mean,
Okay.
you basically went through all the steps there. The big thing, and it will remind you if you forget to save to the roster. But like
Okay.
now, go ahead and click on the road number column there.
Eric, let me ask you a question.
Oh, hold on. Go ahead and click on road number. Click it again.
Okay.
See how it flips it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how you can put it in however you want. And it'll sort real nicely. So
Okay.
good. Ron, you had a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, over here in the bottom right of this screen, I had clicked programming on the main.
Okay.
We've been doing everything on the programming track, but it seems to accept everything okay.
Is that the only engine on the layout?
Is it the only engine on the layout?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, wait.
not.
You know what? You've got, so this particular piece of track with the double pole, that's interesting. It shouldn't have.
I wouldn't want it to be easy.
Well, no, I guess the question is how the thing is wired. If you've got that thing thrown to programming track, is that track isolated from the rest of the railroad?
Absolutely.
Okay. And your command station has a second pair of wires that are actually coming out of the whatever the main A and main B.
Correct.
That's interesting.
When we talked through this, you didn't go back and flip the switch. Is it still on run?
No, right now it's on program.
Oh, okay. So that's the only track it knows about then. So yeah, normally you're going to have to do the, if you're interrogating the engine, you're going to have to do the programming track.
Okay, so normally I should have the programming track highlight or clicked instead of the programming on the main.
Correct. That's correct. You basically have to do that if you're assigning addresses. Now, once the address is assigned and you want to go change a setting, then you can do programming on the main and it'll just send the signal out as long as you're not in, the command station is not in programming mode.
Okay.
Those you don't, yeah, those should just stay whatever mode they were in there.
Okay.
Direct byte is fine.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yep.
I was just curious.
I think mine says, yeah, mine says direct byte as well. I'm using a loco buffer, but it's the,
Okay, is it possible, so from this screen, how do I get to the CVs as far as adjusting speeds?
okay. So go ahead and double click the row for whichever engine you want. Either single click it and hit program, or you can double click the row. Yeah, it does that by default. So just double click it. Oops.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little weird like that. So double click right there.
There we go.
All right. Okay, so what it's done when it brings this up is it basically breaks, it sort of hides the CVs from you unless you go to the CV tab. So the idea here is it's trying to make it easier for you to program it without having to remember all of them.
Okay.
So for instance, if you go to go to motor, there's like kickstart, acceleration rate. You know, if you need a higher voltage to get started, basic speed control is the next. You should have basic speed control as the next tab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one I want.
Yep.
Start, mid, and max.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the other option is the speed table.
Okay.
And this is the, you know, you can really fine tune it.
Yeah.
But the idea is you're going to make the changes, and then this is where those buttons at the bottom come into play. So like
Okay.
typically if you're going to make a change on this tab, then you basically click the button to say write changes on sheet. The
Okay.
sheet is essentially one little box here, or one tab.
Okay.
The write full sheet, you typically aren't going to want to do that, or write changes on all sheets. I typically do it if I'm making changes, I do one tab at a time. And I
Okay.
always use the write changes on sheet.
Okay.
Some of these sheets are really big. I've got some hardware dealing with some of the remote turnout controls, and those have some ridiculously long sheets, and they take forever to write. So,
One thought, Eric Smith.
yeah, go ahead.
As a locomotive that's new to that roster, he may want to read all the CVs and save them so he knows that what he has saved to the roster is what is in the locomotive.
It should have already done that when we read it, but it doesn't.
It came
hurt.
up on that screen.
Yeah, you can do read all sheets if you want. Just be aware it's going to take a while. So just go ahead and click that. And it will go through all of the CVs.
It'll take a while.
Although it's complaining about your command station. Are you still on programming track or programming main?
Well, I'm on the engine's on the programming track.
Okay, but you're in ops mode right now, right?
Well, that engine isn't on the track.
Okay. Oh, yeah, so you can't do this.
569's on the track.
Sorry, I lost track of which engine you were doing.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah.
down at the bottom, there's a button to say stop read.
Yep.
Go ahead and click that.
I did.
Okay, so the engine that's on the programming track, let's close this out.
Okay.
Don't save it, just hit close. All right, so are we on programming track? Go ahead and click the button down there at the lower right.
Yes.
So use programming track.
Programming track.
Yep.
Okay.
And then whichever engine's actually on the programming track, go ahead and double click that row. Or click the row once and hit program. All right, so now let's try, go to the CVs tab and then do read.
Yeah, it's got
sheet.
The numbers down there.
Yep. Now it'll have some of the numbers because some of the numbers are involved in setting the address, but go ahead and read full sheet. And if you look at the bottom, it should be telling you, okay, it's reading,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
It'll click through all of them.
it's gonna take a while to get through 255, isn't it?
Not terribly long. Again, these are just, each one is a byte. So it's pretty quick. It's more just, there's a protocol to interrogate the decoder. So it's not super fast, but it's not, I mean, if you think about what we can do with these silly little things now, I mean, was doing that the other day where I had 2 engines on the same piece of track going in opposite directions at different speeds. I didn't even think about it. Like, oh yeah, I couldn't do this under DC, could I?
Yeah. Well, this is,
Whoops. Like we lost him.
I lost it.
Well, Eric, that is just a great success.
Well, like I said, they did the hard part of getting the programmer updated.
Yeah.
That is not trivial amount of work. So
Now, everybody on this call needs to be sworn to silence that we're not going to talk about Ron's wife, so everybody else is calling her to help with their DCC system. Okay, guys, it's the honor system now.
I had a security clearance. You can trust me.
Yeah.
except you said had.
I hope you weren't going to mention that part.
Ixnay on the security violation. Say.
No, I left. It was much better than that.
Yeah. Oh, this is
All
great.
right.
Did
Yeah, I
we,
guess we lost Ron.
did we
But
get him
either
back?
way, I think he's off and running now. So
Maybe he'll be out dancing in the driveway or something.
could be. So Mark, did you have a question there, Mark? Mark P. Kind of paired up with names tonight.
Yeah, we got,
Marks and Erics.
yep.
So Mark Perrin, did you have a question about getting yours set up?
Yeah. So, but I'm having even trouble getting the track status button to not be yellow on my command unit.
Okay.
So I don't know. I've been listening to what you've been saying. It's been really good.
Okay, so you can't drive anything right now on your power?
No, and I've just got a couple test layouts. I got
Okay.
a programming track and just a test track here, but
All right, but do you have an engine that has a known address on it?
I've got one I haven't run here, but yes.
Okay. All right. So all right, let me bring up my Digitrax manual
So I'm
here.
getting the track status. I'm just not getting it's just a yellow light and I can't get that off.
Okay, can you put your camera next to it, or?
Yeah, let me switch to
And what command station are you using, by the way?
210.
Okay. All right, so your track status is yellow. Hold on a second.
So, and if I switch it, it goes off if I hit N on the throttle.
Okay, well that should mean that you've got. Let me see your show me your command throttle there. Okay, and go ahead and put it on or hit the power button so I can see the LCD. scroll up. There we go. Go ahead and push the power button. Hit the plus sign. All right. Well, I think that means you've got power. I've got a slightly older command station, so I think my ID is red. All it says that the light will be on when there's track voltage and not lit when the track voltage is off. So this basically tells us that we do have track voltage.
Okay.
And your mode, let me see your switches there. You're in run mode.
Yeah, run in HO.
Okay. All right. Well, that says we've got power. Do you have a DC engine by chance?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. So let's go to do you have a programming track hooked up?
I do.
Okay. Let's go ahead and put your engine on the programming track.
All right, give me just 1 second here.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Oh,
My phone crapped out on me.
You're fine. Figured you got your answers and you went out and partied in the driveway. So
Yeah, it was great. This is great, Eric. This is really nice.
glad you got it. So yeah, basically the next step is to just go through your, repeat the process, just each engine,
Yeah.
put it on the programming track, have it read it and add it to your roster.
Yeah.
That way you can build your roster. And then, like I said, the nice thing is if you want to, you can run that throttle from your computer. If you wanted to set up like open house operation or something, you can just bring it. You can bring up 5 or 6 throttles on your computer screen and it will run all of them for you, which is really kind of slick.
Okay. Okay.
Now with that, if you've got a Digitrax MU pair, like you did, that 568, you will not be able to control 569 throttle wise. You can still turn on, like if you've got one that's got sounds and all that, you can still dial up the one with sounds that's MU'd and turn lights on and do that sort of thing. But with this the Decoder Pro or Panel Pro is sort of unaware of consists you've created in Digitrax. So if you dial up 568 in a throttle, it will run 568. Digitrax knows, oh, okay, this is 568 and 569 together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's just like just as if you brought it up on your throttle, you dial up the consist number and are good to go. So
Okay.
All right. So Mark, where are we?
Just one thing I need to inform Ron that while you were gone, we swore everybody that was on the call to silence, and they agreed that they would not be calling your wife for help with their DC systems without your approval. Okay.
Well, you see what's on my nose here.
Yeah.
It got a little testy when we were working on
I
stuff.
was gonna say, are you okay? Blink twice if you need help.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be doing any computer stuff if it wasn't for her, I'll tell you.
yeah. It looks like, based on what you've accomplished, that was a small price to play.
Oh yeah, that's
Very good.
all right. So Mark, you good to go here?
All right, so that's on the programming track.
Okay. All right. So on your throttle,
I think, yeah.
Okay.
I had to remember how to do this. Go ahead and hit the prog button. All right. Let's see. Go ahead and hit the left throttle button, sort of push it down at the top. So it should query that. Okay, well, hit the other one if it didn't read it. Okay, now actually push it down. Hold on.
So it's just toggling between the 2 and the 4, the short and the long.
Okay. Hit the Okay, sorry, hit the enter key on the throttle. That should query it. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
All right, so it's got address, the decoder is reading back as address 3. All right, so go ahead and
Which is the default, right? I mean,
correct. That's the default. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that the decoder and your station were talking, which it sounds like they are. Okay, go ahead and hit the prog button again. We'll get out of programming mode. Or hit, I think there's an exit button on the throttle. I don't have my throttle.
Exit.
Okay, so go ahead and slide your engine over to your power track.
we got noise.
It's gonna say it sounds like you got something there. Okay, go ahead and hit the right throttle button. Yep, push that. Yep. Oh, sorry, hit loco. Okay, put in a 3.
3 to acquire it, right?
And then enter. Yep. All right, and then give it some gas with the right-hand throttle button.
We're moving.
It's got a pulse. Try hitting the F1 or F2. It sounds like a sound unit. F1 is normally bell.
Yep.
F2 probably a horn. Okay, it's alive.
So how do I get this then? I guess it's kind of going through the same thing you just did, but how do I get, and I took notes to get it into the roster, but how do I get this into, first of all, how do I turn off the sound?
Oh, probably try function 8.
There we go.
All right, so we know that your system's at least talking. Do you have your computer plugged into it?
Yes. So I've got it into the PR4, and then
Okay.
that's hooked into the LocoNet, and then that's hooked into the back of the computer there.
Okay, so let's see your computer screen.
I'm gonna switch from my
Yeah.
Can you share it on Zoom?
Yep. So here's Decoder Pro.
Okay.
So it's really going back to that first thing, right? And catching the
Yep. Let's walk. We'll start at step 1 and make sure we're talking to LocoNet. All right, go ahead and share your screen.
Oh, is it not sharing? Sorry.
No. All right. Okay, so down at the bottom, we've got no service programmer mode available, no operations programmer available. So that's, let me ask a couple questions, please don't be insulted. Have you installed the Digitrax software on your computer yet?
No.
Okay, let's go ahead and exit Decoder Pro.
So this is probably, all right.
All right, so let's just go to digitrax.com. We're going to download the latest software and everything from there. All right, and go to downloads and scroll down for the PR4. You said it's a PR4?
PR4, correct.
Okay. Go down, let's get the,
All right.
keep going, keep going. All right, PR4 firmware. When did you buy your PR4?
About, I don't know, it's been a little bit, 8 months.
Okay, then we shouldn't have to do this. What operating system are you running? Is this?
This is 10.
Okay. All right, so go ahead and scroll up a little bit. There should be PR4, Windows 10.
Well, there's instructions, PR4, Windows drivers right here.
Yeah, hold on. There you go. PR3, PR4, Windows 10 instructions. Let's pull that first. Oh, that's a PD. I didn't see that. Hold on. Let me switch my computer over to that page. Oh, okay. Oh, you got PR3. Oh, I guess it's compatible.
It looks like it's the same thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, let me bring this up here. Okay, so let's go back a step. I've got this loaded up on my screen, so all right, so go ahead and grab the PR3/PR4 Windows XP Vista 8 and 9 drivers down a little bit there. Right there. Yep.
This one right here?
Yep. Go ahead and grab that. All right, go ahead and open that folder or open that zip file. Click open file.
Oh, it's over here on the other screen.
Okay. Go ahead and bring that over to this screen if you would.
Yep. Let me just grab it. Okay.
All right. So what I would do is I would just extract this, go up a folder to downloads, and just let's copy this out to somewhere that you can get to it, probably on the desktop or somewhere.
Just copy it. Extract.
Actually, sorry. Yeah, just extract all to the downloads folder. That's fine. Yep, perfect. All right, so now what you need to do is go to the start menu, type in device manager when the menu pops up.
Yep.
Okay, that one. Yep. All right, so down under ports, common LPT, open that little thing there. COM3 should be, yep, right click that. Say update driver. Browse. And then browse to that folder in your downloads. Yep, that one there. Yeah, you can go to that. Yep. Okay. Is this thing plugged into your computer at this point?
It is.
Okay. Hit close. All right, scroll down a little bit. All right, go ahead and unplug it from your computer, or just disconnect it. So if it's easier to unplug the cable from the PR4. Okay, go ahead and plug it in again.
Let me just try one other port here, just in case.
Well,
It's-
when you unplugged it, COM3 dropped out. So
okay.
I think that is the one. So go ahead and plug that in. All right, hold on. Let's see. All right, can you go in the Windows Explorer there? Go into that. Yeah, just leave the device manager up. We'll need that in a second. So go into that WinXP folder. Okay. All right, so let's go back and let's try the update driver again.
Should be that one, right?
Go ahead and click the let me pick from a list. Okay, click have disk. And then go browse out to that folder again. Downloads. Yep. And hit open. Okay. Say next.
Next, and then
Okay. Hit close. We've got to go through this little business here at the top. So, okay, close this here.
the device manager.
Yeah, if you go, let me have you bring up the instructions, because you're going to have to do this once you're going to have to reboot your machine. So go up to that PR3, PR4, that one. Yep. So you might want to, if you can print this out or at least remember what to do, scroll down a little bit. Yeah, you're not going to need the whole thing, but at least cancel this a second. Let's figure out how many pages you need. Okay, so go down a little bit. Go down, go down, go down. Go down. We'll do all this and then, okay, so right here, scroll up a little bit. So whatever page this is,
Okay.
print from here, go down.
So 4 to.
Or to that page.
All right.
Yeah. Basically, what Windows 10 requires that the driver be signed, and apparently Digitrax didn't sign their driver. So essentially, you're having to go in and turn that off. Now, I would recommend going back, and I don't know if you can turn it back on afterwards, but so let's just walk through those. So you've got that printed out. Go to settings, and you're gonna, start menu. Type in PC settings.
All right, let me just. All right, so start menu.
Yep. And then search for settings. Actually, just the little gear icon there.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and hit open. And then click the update and security down at the right there. All right, and then recovery on the left. All right, and then hit that that restart now Yeah,
this
right
one?
there. Yep.
Okay.
So that'll drop the connection and I won't be able to see it till you come back, but the steps are in that thing you just printed out. So,
Okay. This is what you were afraid you would have to do in the first place, right, with Ron?
right. This is basically installing the drivers, you know, essentially getting the hardware running. The older devices like the PR3 and PR4 were a little bit more finicky than, like I'm using a loco buffer, which was easier to install. We didn't have to go change, you know, it was signed and so on, but there's still a, you know, there's always a little bit of a bump to get this part of it working.
But once you get this, then
this is a one-time, yeah, this is a one-time
deal,
thing.
right?
Yep. Essentially, you're telling your computer how to talk to this particular USB device. That's really what you're doing.
Yeah, okay. All right. So now we just need to follow the instructions, right?
Right. Now we should be able to do what we were trying to do before.
Yeah, so it's back. So I have the blue screen here, so I just go troubleshoot.
Yep.
Right? That's what the arrow's saying.
Yep. Troubleshoot, advanced options, startup settings.
Advanced options and startup settings.
Yep.
And then I'm in this, all right, I'm in this mode here and I just hit restart.
Yep.
All right, so far so good. It's working through its reboot.
Yep. I'm assuming the 240 is less headache than this, the newer device, where it's the USB is built into the command station.
I just learned something playing around that if you use the gallery view, you get a bigger picture than the speaker view. So you might want to switch over. It's handier to see 6 of you in 2x3 than 1x2.
Yeah, unless you want to see the details that, like when we were going with going through Ron's system, I needed to see the detail of what he was showing me. So
yeah.
Okay, so now I'm back at the startup menu. So I lost my mouse, but I just hit 7, right, for the disabled driver.
Correct. Hit 7, and then you can hit the or hit enter.
All right, it went into automatic reboot here, so I think it's going to reboot and allow me to install it.
Yep. That's what we. So now we'll go back and we'll do what we were doing before. You can join the Zoom once your computer is awoke.
Yeah, I think I'm going to owe you like hours of my life.
Yeah, this is
figuring this. Eventually, I would have got it, maybe.
No, I've just been dealing with PCs and drivers for a year or two. So, so I think I've built my first PC when I was 19, maybe 20. So that's 30 years of dealing with this crap.
You learn all the tricks. And
Right.
I was 19 or 20. There were an awful lot of vacuum tubes in the back of the TV set.
I still remember seeing tube testers at electronic stores when I was
Even
very young. So, but
even drugstores. So I would take the back up the TV, take a few guesses as to what the problem was.
yeah,
And take the tubes over to the tube tester, and they tell you, you know, good, no good. Okay, Mark's got a portable one right there.
My other hobbies is antique radios. So
Oh, okay. Well, now some more of these people in the group know where to turn to if they need a tube tested.
absolutely, it still works. Or at least it did.
okay, I'm just logging back on here.
okay.
Give me a second. I'm going to reestablish Zoom connection.
Hey, Ron. Yep, he left. I'm gonna try to find out when he was last on the tour. Just trying to find the pictures I'd taken.
It always takes so long to reboot. Working to get my Zoom connection back.
You talking to me? Oh, okay. Hey, Ron, quick question for you. When did you last have your layout on tour? Oh, your sound isn't up there. It's still connecting.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna drop out because my phone keeps losing the battery's going dead on me. So
that's
I'm gonna
fine.
drop out for tonight.
I just had a quick question for you. I think I've been out to your layout. Do you have like a great big engine house with all GN stuff?
Yeah,
Okay. I was just trying to find the pictures. I think I took some pictures there years ago, but
okay.
couldn't find them. Just
Yeah, one of these days I'll try to do a layout tour and
yeah.
have pictures to show and stuff.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, glad we got you going. If you have any questions, feel free to email me.
Okay, great. I really appreciate what you did and your
No
help.
problem.
And
You too,
Ron,
Barry Peterson.
Ron,
What?
thank you for asking the question and being willing to try out these ways to help different people. I think this is really good.
Yeah, this has been great for me especially, but so
All
I'll
right.
see you.
We'll see you when you
week.
see you.
All right. Okay.
Take
Thanks,
care.
guys.
Hey,
All right.
Ron.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm just launching Zoom here again.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right.
All right.
So let's go to the device manager. Actually, you can just search from right there. Yeah. The bottom. Yep, that one there. All right, so down to ports. Right click on COM3. Yep. Do update driver. Browse. Yep. Let me pick. Okay, have disk. Browse out to that folder. Yep, that one there. Actually, that's the file you need. Hit OK.
Next.
Yep.
Yep.
It's going to give you a big red warning here in a second. Install it anyway.
So is this a Windows 10 thing that you have to do, or is this?
Yeah, it's a security thing. They may have backed it off. They may have added it to 7 and 8 too.
Yeah.
But it's a security thing. So you need to be real aware that, I mean, at least it's going to warn you if you put on unsigned drivers. There are occasions where you have to, like in this case, but you will be warned. It's not like it's going to get installed automatically. So
So it's good that it's plugging and chugging.
yeah, it just takes a little bit. I don't know how big that driver was, but okay, close.
There you go.
All right.
Cool.
So let's go ahead and close that out. Go ahead and fire up Decoder Pro. We may have to do a little setup here to tell it which port to use, but we'll see what comes up. All right, go to settings, programming. Okay, go to edit. Sorry, go to the edit menu. Preferences. Yep, pick preferences. All right, so connections. Go ahead and pick from that drop-down list where it says none selected.
Drop down. All
Oh, sorry.
right.
Yep.
Yep.
Scroll down, look for Digitrax. Okay. System connection. PR4.
4.
And then serial port COM3. And hit save. Okay, go ahead and hit restart.
So we just formatted that serial port, right, for the driver?
Correct.
And
Correct. Okay, see that green text at the bottom?
yes.
I mean, that's a good thing. So
Sweet.
go ahead and hit that, toggle that power. So click the yellow. Okay. Do you have an engine on your programming track?
No, I have one on the main
Okay.
track.
Go ahead and hit programming on main down in the lower right. All right, and go ahead and hit new loco up in the upper left.
Yep.
Read
All
type
right.
from decoder. Let's see if it reads it. It's working on it, so don't.
Yeah.
Now the fact that you can't click the power is your system is still, your Digitrax system still on, right?
Everything's still on just as we left it.
Okay.
How does it take this long to read it?
It shouldn't. Okay, go ahead and close the. Yeah, close that. All right, dude, hit the LocoNet menu. Monitor LocoNet. Okay, let's go ahead and put your engine on your engine's on the main.
Okay, it is.
Okay, using your regular throttle, give it some. Do something, make it go.
Okay, it's moving.
It is moving? Okay.
It is moving.
All right, so we've got a Decoder Pro problem here then. Hold on. All right, you can stop. Go to the to the setup here. All right, so go ahead and close that out. Let me look at mine here. I actually wrote an article about this, so let me bring up my article.
Do I need to click this to turn it off, or is that turning off the layout?
Well, that should turn off. You should be able to click on that. And basically what it would do is turn off and turn on the layout, except it's staying in yellow, which means it's basically not.
Yeah, it's not reading anything or not getting.
Yeah. So what we need to do is we need to do the setup. There may be something else we're not doing, so hold on. You're using a PR4, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so let's go back to the set or the edit menu, preferences. Go to connections. Okay, so PR4 standalone programmer. Okay, we got to flip that. There you go. Okay, go ahead and hit save. Oop. Yes, correct them. Okay, hold on. All right, well, go ahead and mark those boxes all the way across. Yep, hit save.
Wait a minute.
Okay,
Didn't
go ahead
hit
and
command station.
It was grayed out.
Yeah, it won't let me.
It may be something different with this particular device. So, hey, there we go. Go ahead and hit the power. Okay, go ahead and hit on. Put the LocoNet on, LocoNet, monitor LocoNet. Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Go ahead and run your engine. There we go. Now we're talking.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so go ahead and close this. Close
Sweet.
the monitor. All right, you got the engine on the main.
Yes.
Go ahead and do new loco.
Now it should read, right?
Yep, it should pick it right up. Well, says no. Try moving the engine to the programming track. Let's.
All right.
And then switch the option there on your.
Okay. Programming track.
Yep.
New logo.
Well, that's weird. Is the. Hold on, let me check something here. Let me check the programming mode, whether it's direct pipe. It maybe need to be paged, but I don't remember.
Could the locomotive be locked? The decoder?
It should at least read it.
Okay.
All right, maybe I didn't have it. I think I might have had a wire loose. Let me try it again.
Okay. There we go.
All right.
All right. So do you know what? Okay. So this is what we were talking about, it where it's going to take its best guess. Do you know which chip you've got?
No, I'd have to look at the manual.
Okay. You got some sort of Tsunami chip in it.
It's a Tsunami 2.
Okay.
Beyond that,
So if you scroll up a little bit, you should see Tsunami. I said it's got 100 because they have them hard coded. Do you know which type of engine it is?
yeah, it's a GP40 P2
Okay, there it is. It's a GN.
right here.
Looks like it. Does it have any of those other features? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, what you want to do, just if you can widen this window, grab the right-hand side of it and stretch it over. Yep. All right, there we go. So there's other, if you've got a GP40P-2, then that's pretty specific. So,
Yep, that's what it is.
okay. So roster ID, this can be UP, and then I generally would use the, UP space and then the engine number. All right, now go ahead and click long and then put in 1375. Now hit right. So it went red and then it went clear.
Yep.
So basically that says that it wrote the stuff properly. Go ahead, hit save. And then you can open Comprehensive Programmer. Let's put in a little bit more information.
All right, so close this.
Just click the Open Comprehensive Programmer.
Right here.
Yep. All right, so then you can type in road name, Union Pacific, or
You all typically do if you run into a situation where you have the same number in two different modes.
yeah, if you've got the same engine number on two different engines, and one of them's going to have to give.
Yeah.
One of
So
them would be 1376 or something like that.
Or just run them in a consist and.
Yeah, I always, even if I'm consisting them, I don't double up my
Okay.
my engine IDs. That's just me, but it will work. I mean, people do that, so I just find consisting is more consistent and easier to do. So, okay, so this is just like I said, that you understand the difference between roster information and programming information, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
This is going to just pull it up here on the roster for information.
Yep. Correct. Now you can go through all the different options there, but let's go ahead and close this out. Close this window. Yeah, you saved it.
All right, it is saved.
Yep, you click I thought I saw you say save to roster.
Yeah, I did. All right, there we go.
And now it should be listed there. And just for testing, go ahead and go to Actions, the Actions menu, New Throttle. Pick your engine from the No Loco selected there. Down near the bottom.
Oh, right here.
Yep. And then say set. Click the set button there. And then you gotta, is it working? I can't hear it, but.
No, I don't hear anything. Oh, it's on the program.
Oh yeah, it's gotta be on the run track.
That's probably. Now I hear a bell.
And the cool thing here is it's got all of the functions written out for you too, because it loaded those in from the profile. So instead of guessing what F8 means, you now have a,
Yeah.
if you use the mobile phone throttle, you get all of that right on the screen. So I think this, you just kind of drag it and then let it go, and then it'll set the speed.
Yep, it's moving. It stopped.
Sweet. Congratulations. You have a layout. You have more computer interface than most people do on their layout. So
No, this is exciting. Cool.
that's awesome. Now, as far as that's kind of, like I said, I don't know much about, I have at least three or four different pages on how to do speed matching and a lot of this stuff. I don't have a ton of sound locomotives, but in general, if they say like, okay, we give you 5 different horns and you go to this CV to change it, Decoder Pro is the absolute easiest way to set that stuff. So,
Okay. No, I've got a lot to learn on that, but this is exciting. Very, very exciting.
This is being able to just program the numbers without having to remember which knob to turn on the Digitrax panel is, it's worth the price of, JMRI right there. Be able to type in the number, say long, right, and it's done. It is so simple to do. And the thing is, you don't need much of a PC to run it on. I think the PC I've got this running on cost me $60 from one of the ISPs who's getting rid of some old machines. So
how do I?
You can move those windows around.
You can move that down. Yeah, there you go. Stretch that down. And the asterisk will take you to the other page of buttons.
Yeah. You got more sounds than you can actually fit on the normal throttle. So.
And then you can go in and you can change those labels.
Oh, you can?
Yes.
So go ahead and close your. Yeah.
You have to change it on that programming screen, not. Right. You can change it on that function panel, but it won't be saved. You've got to.
Go ahead and close this. Go ahead and close this throttle window, and then hit the program button. And then I'm trying to remember.
So yeah,
look at function map.
Right.
The function map
right here. Oh wow.
So you're essentially saying, okay, these are the functions that I know about. That's a good question.
I thought there was a label tab.
It may be one of the other options. Just walk through those tabs there if you would, Mark.
So yeah, we already talked about this, the speed control and speed table.
Yeah.
Lights, man.
Yeah, that's analog is just if you're using a DC, setting it up for DC. Consisting.
I don't know where the naming is.
I thought it was right there. I don't have mine up right now, but I thought it was right there on one, had a tab of its own, I thought. Yeah, no.
Well, if you go back and right click at properties.
Yeah, it may not be part of the programming. It may be simply part of the throttle.
Yeah.
So if you go ahead and close this out, go back to the throttle.
You can leave it open and open the throttle at the same time.
Well, at this point, just go to the actions throttle, new throttle, and then pick your engine down there, hit set. Right click, right click straight to 8. Say properties, and then change 8 to like the number 8, just for giggles.
Yeah, I think that's where you do it.
Let me see if that crosses into the web throttle here. Hold on a second.
I believe my experience has been, if you close that throttle and open it back up, that will not have, the change will not stay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Maybe look under.
Oh, let me try something here.
Yeah.
So like, what's F1? That's Bell.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let me. All right, hold on. Let's try.
I might be wrong, but my recollection is it doesn't.
I'm just testing it with one of mine downstairs here.
So as long as you're using the throttle here, does the
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Go. It's staring us right in the face. You guys are going to shoot yourselves when you see this. Go back to the Decoder Pro all entries.
where at?
Just switch back to the other window. So you got that highlighted. Labels and media down at the lower right.
Oh,
It's like right there.
Right.
There you go. So now if you say straight to 8.
You put it in here, it's going to remember it.
Yep. Well, and more importantly, it will share it across.
all right.
Yeah, so if you're changing your function assignments, like I'm put.
So if I go new throttle, I'm just testing this out here.
Right.
13. All right. So it changed it back. All right. So what you're saying, go to here, go up straight to 8, put in 8, save to roster probably, right?
Right.
Yep.
Oh, so it's going to do this for each locomotive.
Yes.
That's pretty sweet. All right. Click that. So now if I select it, actions, new throttle, select.
Yeah. So now like in mine, hold on.
That's cool. So if you had, so if you have favorite functions on each locomotive, you can.
Well, it's more important if the engine doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't bring in all of the pre-labeled stuff. So like here on my phone, I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, it says F3 test.
Yeah.
So now I can go through and I've been looking for that. And I have a very nice Rapido steam engine, but because it's a Loc sound, Digitrax or Decoder Pro doesn't read in the functions the way it does on other engines. So now I can actually go through and label them. Now, obviously, it doesn't help you with, if you're using a regular throttle, but for that, you just make up the little card to go with it and say, okay, well, F1 is the bell, F2 is the horn, for the sounds. But, well, even I learned something tonight. How about that?
So now the regular throttle does not work because we changed the address, right? So it was based on 03, so I'd have to reselect.
You would need to dial up the 1375 now.
Yeah, put that
3
in
is
there.
3 is the default address for pretty much every new DCC engine. If you have a DC engine, that one you use address 0, but that's not whether it's good or not to run on a DC, whether it's good to run a DC engine on a DCC layout, the jury's still out. It makes some funny sounds, but you can do it for testing at least.
Yeah, I don't have any DC,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna worry
In
about
general, it's
So-
not a great idea, but you can do it for short periods of time if you just.
I've
So
been,
So everything I store, if I go through and play with this and I program this locomotive, this is stored in the decoder. Is that correct? So if I take it to another layout,
it depends what you're looking at. Most of the stuff is in the decoder. Yes. So
Okay.
anything like on base, go to the basic tab, for instance. So everything there that's yellow, just about everything on the rest of the system is going to be stored in the decoder.
okay.
There's going to be a few things here and there that are like notes and so on. The best reference for that is the JMRI website. It will tell you what goes in the decoder.
I was poking around on that the other night.
Yeah. There's
tons
well, the thing is, especially on a modern sound equipped decoder, I mean, it's got, well, just go to the CVs. I mean, the CVs are really what we're mapping to, and it's hundreds of these things.
Yeah.
I mean, and it gets worse when you get into other hardware devices. I mean, like like my Watchman boards, the CV list there is, I'm just loading one up here just for giggles. I mean, I've got 512 CVs on that thing.
Oof.
But that's also controlling, I mean, it controls, actually it's skipping numbers. Never mind, but there's a lot of them. So you can have
anything in yellow, essentially anything in yellow is getting stored on the decoder.
Correct. And again, as you go between tabs, like one of the big things that I do is I turn the volume down on my sound. That's like the first thing to do. The master volume control, essentially what you do is you change that and then everything scales accordingly. That's the easiest way to turn that down. But yeah, because it's yellow, that's essentially indicating, hey, this is a CV value. And you can do what Eric was suggesting and do a read on all the CVs if you want to make sure, but it looks like it's at least got the defaults.
Yeah.
So, but it probably isn't a bad idea to do a read across the board.
yeah, at least do it when you start in on a page.
Right.
How do you do a read?
Oh, what you need to do, you actually need to make your window bigger because you're missing all your buttons at the bottom.
How'd you get to this screen?
So, Ron, this is going to be specific to the type of engine. You're going to might want to make it a little taller too. There,
I just clicked on the locomotive and went to program.
Right. Now,
Okay.
Ron, these tabs are going to be specific to the type of engine. So if you've got a non-sound engine, you're not going to have all of these tabs.
Right.
Where's your buttons?
Yeah.
You're missing your buttons. Hit the, go ahead and close this window. Maybe it's that go ahead and maximize this window here.
Oh, he's got it in edit only.
Go to programming on main, I guess.
Oh, right there. Okay.
Yep. There we go. That's the buttons. Okay. So now you're down at the bottom. Now you've got the read.
Yeah.
read.
Okay.
So go to the sound one again. So there's your, when it's yellow, it hasn't confirmed what's in the locomotive.
Right. So for some reason you've got, oh, you know why? Is because you've got the throttle selected. You need to get rid of the throttle.
Okay.
I think that's why it's not giving you the read option, because you can't be controlling it.
So do I have to release it, or do I
go ahead and release it, and then close the throttle. I think it releases automatically, but
if you close it. All right.
Yeah, and
so
close
now,
close that other window too.
just to restart it.
Yep.
And then just hit program on main program.
Yep. Program.
All right.
On the main, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Still not seeing the options there.
there you go.
This
Well,
looks
he
more
doesn't have
like-
a read though.
Oh, it may have to be on the programming track to read.
Yeah, it could be. Go ahead and switch it. Go ahead and close this. Move your engine over to your program track. Let's try it there.
Decoder and system is combinations a little bit different. One comment while he's doing that on the enabling DC operation.
Mhm.
I have personally seen locomotives that have that DC turned on take off at full throttle because they got a little bit of noise
Mm.
that they thought was addressed to them. So people have
Got it.
advised me to leave that turned off.
Yep. The
What was that, Eric?
So
I
go to basic. Go to the basic tab. We'll show you. Okay, so that option there about power source conversion, DC conversion enabled.
Yeah.
If you are never going to run this on a DC layout, then there's another option there for NMRA digital only.
Yeah.
That will keep that engine from ever working unless it's on a DCC layout.
Is that
As Eric was
recommended?
saying, occasionally if you get some noise on the layout, the DC engines will take off. So, but
So
go
should
ahead.
I go with,
Go ahead and maximize this window. Let's do a read so you see how that works first. So read full sheet.
so it's going to read all the data on this sheet.
Correct. Which there's only,
sure.
there's a handful of CVs, and you see how it's changing from yellow to white.
Yes.
That basically means that it knows what that is.
You now know that the locomotive decoder is the same as what you have on the screen for this session.
Right. So now it would be safe to say, like, that power source conversion, go ahead and switch that to digital only.
Yep.
And then write changes to sheet, or write changes on sheet.
Right changes on this sheet. So
Yep.
this one.
Yep.
So
Okay.
And then go up to the upper left and save it.
Yep.
Is what I usually do.
Yep, because then that now it will remind you to save if you don't, but just go ahead and hit save.
Oh, okay. So those changes aren't, so if you do something you don't like it, it's not saved.
You have to do both. You write it to the decoder and you save it to the roster.
Okay.
That way, when you bring up the roster the next time, it's already got that information in it from the last time.
Gotcha. So if I were to bring this over to someone else's layout, it's 1375, right? Because that's the decoder.
It is correct. That is burned into the decoder. Anything you change on any of the other tabs, except for the stuff on the roster entry, right? That's everything else gets burned in. Everything gets translated into the CV codes, gets burned into the decoder, as you hit write changes on sheet.
Right.
If you take two engines that are consistent to somebody else's layout, they will not be consistent on that new layout.
That's correct. If it's a Digitrax consist, the consist, you know what? Actually, I think I would have to look that up, because I know there's some settings in the decoder. No, because if you reset your command station, you lose your consists.
Yeah, the
consist is command station specific. Yep.
Okay.
But that's, consisting two engines is like, a minute to do.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do if they're running JMRI and they have the web or like the mobile throttle, you can consist through the throttle without going to Digitrax.
Okay.
JMRI, the engine driver, the Wii throttle, does support consisting essentially on the fly instead of the Digitrax method. But again, as soon as you shut the throttle off, that, you know, that will disappear. But so like here, go to that speed or the sound tab again, or the sound levels, I guess. The next one over. So here, everything's yellow. Go ahead and hit read full sheet. And you can see it sort of pop in there. And if for some reason you get in something that, oh, I meant to stop, you can always hit stop read full sheet.
Okay.
Especially if you accidentally hit read all sheets, that's going to take a while.
You need to go get a drink of water or something.
Yeah, or just hit, you always have a stop. There's always a stop button there. But as Eric was suggesting, and I forgot to mention, is the fact that if you've got this thing up, you do need to hit the read prior to making any changes because your roster may be out of date.
Yeah.
From
Okay.
what's in the device.
Yeah, you
Okay.
may done some programming on the main with your throttler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, typically what's going to happen is by pulling up that Tsunami, that particular entry, you know, that Tsunami to GP, you're going to get the default values that Tsunami loads in. JMRI is excellent about knowing what the hardware out there is. Now, Tsunami is notorious for you've got to buy the specific decoder with the file, whereas Loc Sound, it's pretty much, well, here's your decoder, go program it, and you load in the sound files yourself. So you've only got one SKU as opposed to Tsunami where you've got all the different types of SKUs.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it's just a different way to do it, but
yeah, and I've got locomotives with both. I find the guys that like Tsunami too swear by them. The guys that like Loc Sound swear by them.
Oh, it's a religious debate. I mean, I listened to both of them. I've got a mix of some of my older engines, but anything new, I'm buying Loc Sound. I bought the programmer and said, you know what, I'm happy with it. You can get all the different sound files and, you know, it's basically a religious debate. They all sound outstanding with the right speakers and they all work together.
Yeah.
I mean, anything more than that, it's just dogma. It's just religious debate.
It's like buying a television, right? You go to Best Buy, you see them all together, and you can notice the slight differences. You take it home, and it's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I am not that much of a sound file that I can pick the differences out. Oh, well, that's not the 645's back. The sander thing doesn't sound. I'm like, I don't know. It sounds cool. That's, you know.
So right now, I just kind of have this test track set up here. So if I go through and I exit out of this and I shut down the command station, I unhook it from the computer, like if I'm doing work or switching it, as long as I plug it into that port.
Well, it's not so much that you have to put it in the same USB jack. It's that it will, as long as you aren't adding a bunch of other devices, your computer will re-recognize this as COM3.
Okay.
That's it. Basically identifies your device and says, okay, you have a COM port assigned to you.
Okay.
And assuming you're not adding a bunch of other devices, you won't ever have to worry about that again.
Okay.
At worst, you might have to go through and say, oh, well, it got replaced, and you have to go through and reinstall drivers the way we did. But for the most part, you turn the thing off, just as we did when we unplugged it and plugged it back in. It came back as COM3.
Yeah. Okay.
So you shouldn't really have to ever worry about this again.
Yeah. So I can unplug and just do what I need to do, plug it back in, and
exactly.
Eric, all these values on this screen that's showing right now.
Yep.
To make adjustments on these volume levels, does everything have to be turned to white, or can you do those while those are still shaded yellow?
Well, as we were saying, you want to read the page before you make any changes. You want to essentially get the current, because what happens is when we write it back to the decoder, it's going to make changes to all, like each one of these maps to probably one CV value. So like master volume is one CV, air horn is another. I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But the idea is that when we read in, we read the full sheet, we get all of the current values, you make the change you need, and then you write the changes back.
Okay.
But if everything's yellow, then it doesn't know, Decoder Pro doesn't know what the current values are, and you could end up wiping something that you'd already set.
Okay.
So in general, the process is go to a tab, read the full sheet, make your changes, write changes, go test it, put it on your on your main layout. Oh, it's not loud enough. Okay, bring it back, make another change, write the changes. But you always want to at least read the full sheet once before you start doing anything.
Yeah.
Especially with a brand new engine.
Yeah. And you also want to save it when you're doing it.
Correct. You're always going to write the changes and then you save it to the roster. The roster is basically a backup of all of your settings. Because what you can actually do is you can say write all sheets. So like for instance, if you had one, let's say you had that tsunami board go bad and you got exactly the same one, you swap the decoders in, you say write all sheets, and it'll essentially reload that decoder with all of your previous settings.
Okay.
If it knows what all the settings were. So
the roster, it's just a backup. So it's saving this. When you write it, it's saving it to the decoder. When you save it, it's saving it to the roster.
Correct. But like I said, every save is actually two things. You write it to the decoder, that burns in that stuff. You save it to the roster. That gets you the decoder settings plus the extra stuff that you're putting in.
Right.
The other thing you want to make sure you're doing is you want to back up all of your JMRI files. So otherwise the roster is completely pointless.
Okay.
And you can see where those are stored. It's basically going to be something like, I always have to go hunting for it, but it's a .xml files.
Yeah, I back up other files.
Yep.
Other programs. So I've got a whole backup folder, and so.
All right, I'm going to bail off here.
All right.
Yeah, I think I will for the last time myself.
Let's keep coming back for more. So
this has been extremely helpful. Thank you.
I'm glad that was helpful.
I think it's been helpful to all of us, Eric. That was just really great.
No problem. Like I said, it's the best thing about it is it helps remove some of the intimidation factor of programming DCC. I mean, this is like anybody who's out on the various forums complaining about, oh, DCC is so complicated, I'm just going to stick with DC. I'm like, look, you load this up, it's just not that. There's a little bit of setup, and I'm not going to discount that. You do have to get the connection made. But with the newer ones where you've got the USB jack on the command station, it's like plug in, probably drop download a file, run it, and you're done. And as long as those things turn green, you're good to go. And the possibilities that it opens up, especially with the more advanced stuff, like, you guys saw the other day where I've got the remote turnouts. I can do signaling through it. I can do all of that stuff all through JMRI. JMRI is free. The only thing I got to pay for is the hardware to do the things I want to do. The signals, the layout detection, the power, but all of the software is right here, and somebody smarter than me is writing it. So, it's just, this is so much easier. Master volume control set to 50. Okay, tell me what the CVs are and how to do that. I'm like, I don't know. I just go there and I change it and it's done,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Eric, Ron Phillips layout, I was at his layout during a layout tour on April 6th, 2019.
Okay, I didn't go to that one, so it must have been a previous
Yep.
previous tour to that. But
Well, I'm
That's all
missing tonight. Thanks so much for
all right,
doing.
Yep.
Really
Yep.
neat.
like I said, you've got my email. You guys have got my emails. If you had other questions, I
I
don't
got
claim to
enough.
know everything, but I can at least get through the basics and
No,
get
I
some of the other
appreciate it.
stuff set up. So
That's given me enough to play with for a
Yep.
while.
exactly. All right.
All right.
Well, I'll go
Thanks
ahead
a
and
lot.
end the meeting. So you guys have
Yeah.
a good night unless there's
Thank
any other
you.
questions. All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah,
All right. Bye, guys.
yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Good night.